does my story begin? I kind of realised that I wanted to go into law between the ages of, I'd say, 13 to 15. I was really passionate about justice and really just wanted to get into that field. So I knew from probably around the age of probably 13 to 15 that I wanted to study law, and around that time I was looking at training contracts, already looking at what I needed to do to get there, work experience, the lot, because I knew that academically I am not gifted, and I knew that to stand out from competition and training contract applications, work experience is something that would come in really handy for me, and it would teach me not only kind of what sector I'd want to specialise in, but also it would teach me a lot of skills that I'd be able to use even if I didn't go into law. So I started my first work experience placement when I was 15 in corporate law, and kind of continued that throughout my teenage years, throughout sixth form. Every summer I had some sort of internship or job, and that really did teach me a lot. I started in a local law firm close to where I live in Surrey, and ended up working in a top law firm in London for a week. And all of these experiences really did teach me a lot. I was able to make great connections, and it really did teach me a lot about the different sectors within law, how to talk to people, how to network, and these are all skills I know that some of my friends struggle with when I'm going into like the third year of university, and I'm so grateful that I was able to get those opportunities. And if you want me to talk about how I got those opportunities, I'm happy to make another video about that. But moving on to my journey within law, I actually ended up repeating one of my years at sixth form. I was at the wrong school and I'd taken the wrong subjects. I actually ended up moving to a school closer to me. At that time, I think I was commuting 90 minutes a day to go to the old college, but I ended up moving to a sixth form that was closer to me, and I took English language, philosophy and ethics, and English literature. So unfortunately, my A-level year kind of hit the pandemic, and I had no choice but to let the government choose my grades, which we don't like to talk about in this house, but it happened. And I did end up going to the university that I wanted to go to in central London, and I was able to study law, and that's the only thing that mattered to me, and I'm happy that I got there. Upon like the summer between the pandemic and starting university, we obviously had such a long time off work, or off life really, especially if you're my age, and I wanted to utilise that time and work, because I chose not to work when I was 17 to 19, so when I resat my A-levels, because I was just like, I'm going to tutor, and that was just an easy 2 hours a week, and it made enough money for me to not only get by, but you know, just get what I wanted to get in life, and that was enough for me. So when it hit the pandemic, I was like, I have to work. So I was quite fortunate that a family friend owns a company, and she employed me after, I think I did some work experience with her first, and then she employed me, and I started working in business development, which is not only an area that I'd never ever touched before, but also one that really excited me. I had done retail sales when I was 16, but I hadn't done anything to do with like business development, especially for a larger company. So I ended up doing that for about 18 months, and she also introduced me to someone who has a legal technology company, and that was kind of when I spoke to him and had a demo of what he did. It was the first time I was actually introduced to a piece of legal technology. And then that guy actually introduced me to another friend who was looking for a paralegal to do some intellectual property research. So when I started university, I was actually working as a paralegal and in business development and studying full time. So I kind of juggled that, I want to say for about 18 months, but the paralegaling position only lasted about 10. After that, I was really, really lucky, and I kind of knew at that point that I wasn't enjoying my degree. I wanted something that was more practical, and it was around this time that I really regretted not doing an apprenticeship, and a lot of my friends who'd, you know, maybe taken a gap year during COVID had decided to go down the apprenticeship route because it suited their personalities more. But I didn't want to just leave my degree. So I decided to continue working while studying, and it was hard because you have to be really, really, really good with your time management. And I think the reason that I was able to do it point blank was the fact that I was doing university work online and I wasn't in person. So for the first 2 years of my degree, I was completely online, which I really liked. I was able to have a really good relationship between work and studying. I had a really, really good balance. And after 18 months of that, I decided that actually I was going to join a legal tech company for the rest of my degree. And I say that, but it's like the things that I was saying were just not something that people my age usually say. Working in corporate when you're my age, you know, all of these things it's quite hard to do. It's quite hard to get into that sector when you're so young. And actually, I used the techniques that I'd learned kind of through working in business development to network and get myself a job within legal technology. And I've been there for about a year and a half, nearly 2 years, because that kind of sparked my love for legal technology, and I was really able to utilise the skills that I had learned in business development into legal technology, so that I was able to kind of bring in two of my loves, I'd say, because I really like law and I really like technology, and legal technology just kind of merges the two together. So that is the story of how I got into legal tech. So to summarise, that's kind of my journey from, wanting to go into law all the way up to what I'm doing now. Now, there are some things in the middle that I've missed out, and that is training contracts and practicing law and working as a paralegal. So just to give you a bit of overview over that. So I applied to a lot of first year schemes, failed every test, didn't get in. I applied to loads of training contracts, again, nothing ever came of it. And I didn't actually end up applying to a lot of training contracts. I mean, I wasn't committed to doing that. I was quite fortunate that I was given the opportunity to work as a paralegal within residential property, and I absolutely loved that. And I think what I've always really struggled with when it comes to law firms and training contracts is the fact that I want to have a say into what seats I'm doing. I really think that especially after working in corporate for so long, the place that you end up training is somewhere that you should fit in, and it should be somewhere that you love. And unfortunately, I was very naive when it came to applying to training contracts, where I didn't take any of that into consideration because I just didn't know. At the end of the day, I was 19, 20 applying for these huge positions without not only not doing enough research, but not getting an actual understanding of what a corporate job requires of you. So this is a bit of a waffle into how I got into law. If you guys have any questions about my journey or specific parts of my journey, comment them down below, and I'll see you in the next video.